Okay, I got a nice thread to pull on in the 5 minutes or so because near the end of my break. Dude, why you calling me right now? I'm gonna I'm gonna yell at my buddy for not having me on his bell notifications because he would have seen the bell notification. Okay, so the Mandela effect. So I was just tuning in to the IMEC International Mandela Effect Conference page because Mandela Effect is big on the brain with the Heidegger and the James True interview. So I'm just thinking to myself, there was a new one that was there up front, and I haven't even finished watching that because I'm going to go in a different direction than that conversation. So the meaning of harp, as in the acronym, has changed. The HAARP now stands for something else. It's like High Frequency Antenna Array Program. Now, I have always called it the high frequency, I think it was, wait, I think I got it mixed up when I put it in the comment section on YouTube. So, because I must have just not said it out loud. High frequency atmospheric auroral program, effectively, right? It had atmospheric in it. I remember that. And most other people remember it a different particular way. I'm one of those guys that gets a couple of different ones sometimes. Right. Sometimes sometimes I remember it a little bit differently, but it is different. Okay, so on the James True episode, there was a collective egregore situation, and that collective egregore, I believe, would have been there since at least the 90s for me. Right? Because there was something that didn't feel right about Star Wars as a kid, with the mentioning of the silver legs situation, which did not really pop into my memory until one of my buddies in the movie theater brought it up in Phantom Menace when C-3PO showed up. Simtrax XL. I like that. That sounds cool. It's very cyberpunk. I dig it. Okay, so Mandela effect, HARP. They changed. If you're going to end up being a conspiracy theorist, which they can tell because of your disposition in childhood, they may want to tell you certain lies because they may have heard you say something very sincere and pure from your soul as a child about, I don't know, your ideas about God, your ideas about good and evil, your ideas about what a good future should be, yada, yada, yada. And then they're going to think about that in accordance to their own selfishness and to their own unconscious narcissisms and so on and so forth, which is where they, with whatever egregore they may have, is doing so. Or they are one of the servants of the egregore who is casting the curse. Right? Right? It's basically a psychically organized lie that you reinforce in the person's life until they hallucinate it, and it runs on its own and integrates as a poison block in your psyche. This is a big way in which they were keeping people of our disposition suppressed, right? So we were under great delusion. And so, in short, I'm sitting there on Revolution Radio in 2012 talking about, the high frequency atmospheric auroral program or whatever, and people are probably just too polite to tell me that I'm wrong when I'm talking to guys. Like, I used to talk to Billy Hayes, who built the fucking thing. One of my fucking friends in this war was Billy Hayes, who was a fixture at Revolution Radio. You want to fucking talk about HARP? Me and Billy were great friends. I believe he passed away. He was an old dude. He was a good man. I loved that guy. That's a schmuck that got dicked over by fucking Joe the Toe Rogan when he had the sci-fi fucking show. First fucking episode, HARP. And Billy gets this fucking 5-second fucking thing on a laptop that had to be real fucking short because he knew those fucking, like, he had to protect his fucking field, and he did a good job. It sucked what they did to him. But the only thing that got in the cut was him being real serious about it. About, and basically not giving them any material to misconstrue. Because he knew there was bad faith. And that's why the interview on that Joe Rogan episode went down the way that it did, because Billy fucking Hayes, one of the private contractors who was not allowed to know nothing about what he was working on except for the parts he was working on, was one of the contractors in Alaska working on fucking HARP, whistleblower that was held and protected by Revolution fucking Radio. Okay, so I'm Mandela affected about that. Billy Hayes never fucking corrected me. Billy Hayes always, I heard him say it that way. He may have been saying it correctly the whole time, and I'm just an idiot being entertained as I'm saying it wrong back to him and to, 12 to 100,000. I don't know. Nighthawk never gave us the fucking numbers. I was just proud of the work that I did, and I didn't fucking care because I didn't really want to be fucking famous. I just wanted to know how much fucking reach and influence I had. And I'd rather maybe do things like do this with my shirt off so that way I don't become famous. Maybe stop telling me what to fucking do with my life. Fuck you. Okay. Thoughts on organized religion? I say we should disorganize it. Hi. Are able to answer my questions. What are your thoughts on Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson, I want to believe as razor fist ideas on Michael Jackson is. I know that in some ways he was trying to warn us about something that he knew, right? And then in other ways he was kind of entrapped by the same system tragically, right? There weren't enough of our kind walking the earth, right? Because imagine what this world would have been if somebody like Michael Jackson, who had a lot of alleged independence before things compromised him, or Prince, who geniusly fucking changed his name to get out of the system, who geniusly fucking talked about chemtrails, which thus is associated with HARP, before they figured out how to take him out, or he maybe was such a genius that he just dipped and is hiding among us. I don't know. But what I do know is that imagine what we could have accomplished together if, somebody like Prince was around and I said, "Hey Prince, want to do an interview with me?" And he says yes, and then the whole fucking world looks at me. Okay, maybe that is why they're gone. Because we have to work harder. We have to earn it on our own anyway. They played their part for the light and the dark, because there's a lot of people that chose a path of getting basically quantumly entangled with the dark timeline, just to be in the spotlight, to say, I'm going to be a sacrifice as an example to you of who they are. I think that maybe that was somewhere in the story. I feel that in the spirit of the story. That doesn't mean that it's true. That could be just another fucking curse. And maybe I'm spelling Michael Jackson's name wrong. Thoughts on Trump 2024? I don't really have thoughts about any of that. I'm looking at the profile of the American psyche. Profile of the American psyche will tell me what this country is, because guess what? It's pretty bad right now, but all things considered, it's better than I thought it would be with someone as horrible in the head as the current man in office. And guess what? It's the chief of staff who's running the show anyway. So you ask me who, it's not Trump 2024, it's whoever Trump chief of staff is. That's the only guy you need to think about as a person in the White House, is the chief of staff, period. Everything gets filtered through him. The rest is just a dog and pony show. I got to get back to work. And my deep point is that conspiracy theorists, in their pursuit of conspiracies, they like to do things like FOIA requests. You have to spell the names of everything you want revealed absolutely to the letter correctly, no fucking around. It has to be perfect. So the exact specification of what is to be disclosed is exactly disclosed. So this is why people were not allowed to know about the Groom Lake facility, aka Area 51. You can't FOIA request Area 51. That name is a part of a greater facility, and thus is not what you're actually looking for, because Area 51 is only used as a term in the lore of Area 51. It's got a more technical name than that, but it doesn't fucking sound good. Okay? So that's the Mandela effect in a nutshell for you, and this is one of the reasons why they may have wanted to put a curse on you, is to hide how you take control of something that their laws say you're supposed to be able to take control of, right? You know, with their system, the government. And that can be pretty scary considering the dark place we've been. I almost don't blame them for obscuring that, considering how fucking off the scales a lot of us can be. Just depends on how much you know how to listen to people, especially your harshest critics. And if anything, I have been my own very harsh critic, but I am impressed when somebody can be harsher than me on myself, right? Otherwise, I'm just getting insulted, and that doesn't get anybody anywhere. Okay, I gotta get back to work. There's a truck here and all that. Greeting beautiful souls from across the pond and the same. Hey, thank you guys. A bunch of new people. You are completely new names. I do not know where these conversations are going. Thank you so much.